Hi guys, so this is going to be the controversial parenting tag video. It was requested, so that's why I'm doing it. Some quick announcements before I go on with it though. I am working on the house tour video still. Like, I mean, it's done. Internet does not like to cooperate. The editing thing I used does not like to cooperate either. But I'm working on it, I promise. I'll get it up as soon as possible. Next is I'm going to do a video, do my best to make a video once a week as long as my internet, it works. I plan to do a video once a week for you guys. So if you do have any, I have some that I can post like already, and I have some of my own ideas. But if you have any requests of your own, I would love to hear them, and I would love to do them. I know that like a day in the life is one. I will do that. That's my number one priority as soon as I get a video camera. But any others, I did post like a video going over like our weekly schedule kind of thing. Since I can't do a day in the life, I kind of just spelled it out for you guys. If you're curious about that, you can watch that video. And then like I did a couples tag with Sean. That has 4 parts to it because it's really long. So every week, every other week, I'll throw one of those in there because I think they're kind of fun, and it's kind of fun to get to know us a little bit better in our relationship. And so yeah, working on the uploading the house tour video best I can, and video every week. So send in suggestions. Otherwise, let's move on with the controversial parenting tag. So these are, I just Googled it and this is what I found. So number 1, I haven't even read through all these yet. So you're going to be getting like, I haven't even read through the list. I literally just Googled it. So you're going to be getting straight answers. No time for me to even think about it. Number 1, pro-life or pro-choice. I am pro-choice. It does not mean I am pro-abortion. Obviously I had Layla. I don't know if I personally would ever get an abortion. But it is such a personal decision, and it's not my place to make that decision for someone else, nor is it any of my business at all. You do what you want with your body, and I'll do what I want with my body. And yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. Pro-choice for that one. Baby wearing, yeah, I don't see an issue with it. I don't even know why it's a controversial subject, honestly. I'm curious as to what the opposing side would say on it, because I mean, I don't know why it's even a controversy. I did it with Layla a few times when she was little, just because it was easier to do stuff around the house if she was fussy. Next, circumcision. I'm not really gonna touch on this one. I don't have a boy. I have a little girl. If I had had a boy, I haven't done any research on it. I don't really know. I know that it's a huge touchy subject. And I haven't done my research on it. And so for me to honestly pick a side would not be fair, because I would need to research it first. If I have a boy in the future, I'll research it then and make my decision then. But right now, I don't have anything really to say about it. Next is adoption. I think adoption is great. If you don't want to have, you're in a situation, you're unplanned pregnancy, whatever, and you don't want to get an abortion, but you don't want to keep the baby, then that's great. Adoption's great. And I know that like many couples out there that can't have their own baby would love that as well. Like, I think that that's great. Whether you adopt or whether you are the person adopting your child, I think that's one of the most amazing gifts you can give someone is a child. So, all for that. Baby piercing. My opinion, I didn't pierce Layla's ears when she's younger. I have no plans on piercing her ears until maybe she's older and she can ask me. I might not even let her do it until she's like in like middle school or something like that. But my personal opinion, I want it to be her decision and not mine. I was not allowed to get my ears pierced till I was like 12, and then I begged my parents all the time because all my friends had them pierced, and they said no, not till you're 12. And then when I turned 12, I honestly didn't even like have any desire to do it. Like, I pierced my belly button before I pierced my ears, and then one day I was like, oh, I want a new piercing, might as well pierce my ears. So I double pierced my ears, and now like you can't even tell, both holes are closed up. I don't wear earrings. I wore earrings for maybe a year. I honestly didn't like it. I'm not a fan of it. um like I don't, I think earrings are great. I'm not a big accessory person. The only accessories I wear are the promise ring from Sean, which is on this finger because it doesn't fit on this finger. It barely fits on this one, as you can see. This necklace that says Layla's name in Mayan. This pendant, and then I also have mala beads. If you don't know what mala beads are, just Google them. But yeah, I'm not a big accessory person, anyways. So I just didn't like ear piercings myself. But yeah, I don't. If you decide to pierce your child's ear when they're babies or younger, whatever, I don't care. Honestly, it's not. I don't. I'm not gonna hate on you for doing it. I don't hate people that do it. I see babies with their ears pierced all the time. I know people that have pierced their baby's ears. Like I said, my friend has had her ears pierced since she was like 9. She loves it. I don't know. It's not, to me, it's not like that big of a deal. I just personally would never do it. Breast versus bottle. I think that breastfeeding is wonderful. I did it myself until I was unable to anymore. But I would never hate on a mother for bottle feeding either, because as long as you're feeding your child, I think that's all that matters. And okay, so also for a bunch of this, or I'll just say this at the end. But anyways, yeah, I mean, as long as you're feeding your child, it doesn't matter to me. I think breastfeeding, in my personal opinion, is better, and I would urge women to do it, and especially do research on it, and just to, the benefits and all of that. And I think it is, yeah, breast is best. But as long as you're feeding your child, then you're feeding your child, and I don't have a problem with you. You can bottle feed all you want. Layla was only breastfed for about 6 weeks. I started to lose my supply, and I probably could have if I started feeding her formula because she wasn't getting enough. After doing research, I found out there's probably like other things I could have done to bring my supply back more, but instead I kind of just let it dwindle away. But I mean, she got 6 weeks of breastfeeding. I still think that's great. She actually got a little longer just because at first my supply was so much, I would freeze some, so I had some frozen until she was like 6 months, but I would go back and forth with that. But yeah, feed your child, and I don't have a problem with you. Spanking. Alright, so spanking is, I was spanked as a child a couple times. I think that it depends on the child. I think that some children, it is needed. I wouldn't say that's your first thing that you go to, is like, I'm just gonna spank you, and I wouldn't do it in kind of like creating fear kind of way. It's just, I've smacked Layla on her bottom before, but that's after everything else I did didn't work, and it's just a very light little smack. And then I explained to her why that happened, and why, like, I don't want to like instill fear, but I've only had to do it once, otherwise everything else timeouts. Because how I discipline her really is I get stern with her. I give her warnings. It continues. Like, I'll get down on her level and like be very stern with her. If it continues, she gets a timeout. We have like a stoplight thing. I don't know. You'll see it in the house tour video, definitely. I don't know if it's in the background of any of my other videos. But downstairs, and it's like green light, the regular stop sign thing. I'm sure everyone has heard about them, but the red ones start with like 3-minute timeout and then 5-minute timeout. and then early bedtime. Because if she's just that bad, she's going to bed early because she's very tired. But yeah, so I do a 3-minute timeout to begin with. She goes and sits in her room by herself for 3 minutes, and then 5-minute next if needed. But like I never have to go to 5 minutes even because she hates timeout. And after I put her in timeout, I like come in and I ask her if she knows why like I did that, and if she, and I like explain to her like why she was in timeout. I'll ask her first, and then I explain to her, and I tell her I love her, and I give her a hug and kiss, and then we're fine. And that usually works just fine for me. But I think that some children do need a little bit more, and I think it depends. So spanking to some extent, not, I wouldn't say first resort, and obviously not that hard. But I do think that I'm not completely 100% against it. I don't think it's like abuse, as long as you're not actually abusing them, obviously leaving marks, and so whatever. Co-sleeping. Okay, so this one, it doesn't specify, but between like co-sleeping and bed sharing, those are different. Co-sleeping, I think when it says co-sleeping, it means like in the bed with you, which is like bed sharing. So bed sharing for me, it differs obviously with age. Now my daughter is 2. I don't care if she sleeps in the bed with me occasionally. Obviously, she's not going to sleep in the bed with me every night because she needs to learn how to sleep on her own in her own bed, which she always has. But I mean, occasionally, like when she's sick or every now and then, I'll let her come in and sleep in with me, or if she's had a bad dream or something like that. That's fine. And she's 2. So I know that bed sharing is a bigger issue for, hey, can you not do that? Okay, hi, sorry about that. Sean distracted me by peeking his head. He like peeked his head around like the top of our stairs. There's like a little wall, and he peeked it around. It was like being weird, and he distracted me, so I had to stop the video for a second. But anyway, so I ended on, I was talking about co-sleeping. I know that when babies, like little babies, I never let her sleep in the bed with me unless I had I had like this thing that was like a co-sleeper, that it was like a little mini crib that you could put on the bed next to you, that I would have her sleep in whenever Casey wasn't home, just because I like to have her next to me. But I would never sleep with her like in the actual bed just with me, just because I was terrified of rolling on her suffocating, or those just the safety reasons behind the co-sleeping controversial issue. If you do it completely safe, whatever. And then, I mean, obviously as they get older, it's not, the safety issue isn't really like a thing anymore. Now I'm more worried about her hurting me when she sleeps with me, because she kicks me in the face and the stomach. And then co-sleeping is in like sleeping a bed, or like your child sleeping in the room with you. Yeah, when they're younger, I think it's important as they get older to just, for them to be able to have their own room, build some independence kind of, and have it. I think it's important for them to sleep in their own bed or whenever. But when she slept in a bassinet next to Layla did, my daughter, obviously, slept in a bassinet next to my bed for 4 months, before we put her in her own crib, just because it was easier to have her next to me and to take care of her that way in the middle of the night if she woke up, and just hear her. And I just felt more comfortable when she was right next to me in a bassinet. But like I said, she was just in a bassinet. I was too scared to actually have her in bed with me. Next, home versus public versus private versus charter. Oh, okay, so school. I got you. Public school. I mean, I don't see an issue with any of them, as long as they're like legitimate schools. As long as you're a legitimate homeschool teacher, and you actually teach them. I don't see an issue with it at all. I know people who have been homeschooled, whatever. Personally, Layla will be going to public school. But I don't, once again, just, as long as your kid's getting an education, that's what's important. Like, I don't know why it's really controversial. But yeah, Layla will just be going to public school. Vaccines. Yes, I strongly believe in vaccines. because it's just it's scientifically proven that because people, this all of a sudden, this thing on vaccines, that it's a new thing, like this, pretty much, like at least the trend of not vaccinating your child is a new thing. Everyone before you, like your parents, their parent, whatever, as long as the vaccines have been out, were vaccinated, and that's why these diseases weren't around. Yes, you could possibly, your child could possibly have an allergic reaction, and there's those small percentages that, yes, as some of them may have carcinogenic stuff or whatever. I've done some of the research. Yes, I get that, why that's scary, but it's more scary that you are putting your child, it's like diseases are coming back because people aren't vaccinating their children. And if you don't vaccinate your children, you're not only putting your child at risk for these these deadly diseases, like these are deadly, like your child could die, as opposed to have an allergic reaction. Like there's a reason that after you give your child a shot, they keep them there at the doctor for like 15 minutes to make sure that they don't have an allergic reaction, and then they make sure they give you all the pamphlets. They'll let you know if this and this and this could happen. But it's like there are diseases that are coming back because people have decided to stop vaccinating their child. And not only are you putting your child at risk, but you're putting everyone else's child at risk too. You are putting a child that is maybe too young to get the vaccination at risk. And you should vaccinate your children. I do feel pretty strongly on that. Because it's a safety precaution. There's a reason these diseases were gone for a while, and there's a reason that they're coming back now. And yeah, so next one is medicating babies. Oh, and another thing, I don't think around the vaccines, I don't think doctors are just making shit up and just wanting money out of you. The doctors do not make money off of giving your child a shot. They don't make money off of it. They're doctors. They know more than you. Like, you maybe read an article online on fucking Facebook about how vaccines are the devil. I don't think that you're not suddenly smarter than a doctor that went to school for forever. Doctors go to school for a long time. And like some longer than others. Like your knowledge is not more. Like there's a reason they recommend it. Like they're not just just for shits and giggles. All right. Anyways, moving on. Medicating babies. So I'm assuming this means like giving them like Tylenol and stuff like that. Yeah, if they're in pain, obviously obviously you're not giving your baby NyQuil or something like that. But yeah, I give my daughter Tylenol. I've always given her Tylenol, even when she was little. After she got shots and she was achy, I gave her Tylenol. Obviously the dose that is recommended by your doctor. No more than that. And I mean, obviously you need to, if they're like, and don't just, I don't just willy-nilly give it to her, like if she's like in pain. Yeah, and also she's older now and it's easier for her to communicate with me these things too. But I would only give her, when she was a baby, I would only give it to her if she was feeling warm, or if you know your baby, you can tell if they're in pain or not. So yeah, I gave her Tylenol this morning because she wasn't feeling good. She's not feeling good. She had a little bit, like a tiny bit of a fever, and she was being like, it was just clear that she wasn't feeling good, and I gave it to her, and guess what? She feels fine now. Obviously, it's just, age appropriate stuff. Then it's not an issue. I'm not going to be giving her NyQuil. I'm not going to be giving her, I don't know, anything else. Like, I'm not self-medicating her like with other things. I don't know. Like, I give her what the doctor recommends to give her. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Cloth or disposables. Personally, I am use disposables. I don't really think either are like an issue. I'm not. I think it's stupid when moms hate on other moms because they use disposables or they use cloth or whatever. It doesn't matter. Just cover that shit up so it doesn't get everywhere. But personally, I use disposables. I just do. So sorry if that's something that upsets you. Cry it out method. Okay, so this is the last one. Cry it out method. To some extent, yes. Your child. I mean, obviously, like once again, age comes into effect. When she's a little baby, I always go to her, and I mean, also you know your child. You know if they're crying because they need something, and they're just like crying. For example, I mean, okay, so I'll just start where I was saying again. For a little baby, I would whenever she cried, I'd go straight to her. She's fussy. Like little babies need it more. They're not just crying to cry usually. Like newborns, as they get older, they'll start to do that more. And like rocker or whatever. But you can tell the difference between like a need cry and or an intention cry. An intention cry, you don't always need to give them attention. Yeah, obviously your child needs attention. You should still give them attention sometimes, but they also need to learn that crying is not going to get them what they want all the time. Example with my daughter now, I have a thing on her door so she can't come out of her room by herself because she's been coming out and coming in every night, waking me up constantly. I'm going to talk about that probably separately in a whole different video, not right now because it'll be too long. But when I put her to bed, she'll cry for a little bit, and there's nothing wrong with her. She's fine. She just wants out, or she wants to be in my bed, and she wants to be awake still. So I let her cry for about 5 minutes, and then she figures it out, and she goes to bed. There's nothing wrong with that. Even when she was a little bit younger, sometimes I'd put her to bed, and she'd cry for a little bit because she didn't want to go to bed. And I'd let her cry for a little bit. They need to know that crying just doesn't get them what they want all the time. I mean, I would also rock her sometimes, and then, once again, you know the difference between I'm in pain cry, I need something cry, and I'm just crying cry. So, yeah, those are, obviously, if they need something, take care of them. And, when she was teething, and I knew she was teething, and she would cry, I wouldn't just leave her in there. I would soothe her and rock her to sleep because she was teething. She was a baby, and she needed my comfort then, or when she's sick or something. But when she's fine, then she's fine. But yeah, that is it for the controversial parenting tag. I hope you enjoyed. And something I was gonna say at the end of this is some of these. I hate moms attacking other moms on controversial issues. I have a Facebook page that I run, like a mommy Facebook group page that I run, and one of our rules is do not bring up controversial issues that may cause fights because I think it's stupid. Don't hate on other moms. It's just people have different opinions. Let that person have their opinion. You can hate on them if their child is obviously being abused or in danger or something. Otherwise, I think it's really stupid and catty and immature to attack another mother for a specific choice that she makes. So even I see stuff that maybe I don't agree with, vaccinating your kids. Okay, so I feel very strongly about that, but I also don't go around attacking people for it. But I do think they need to become more educated, and there's a difference with that than also attacking people. But yeah, so those are my opinions on the controversial parenting tag, and that's it. I guess that's my tag video. So I'll see you guys later. So yeah, bye. Comment, requests, whatever, or just comment anything. Questions, if you have questions, feel free to do questions. If I ever get enough questions, I'll do a question and answer video. We can also do a question and answer video with Sean, whatever you'd like. and subscribe. And yeah, thanks. Bye.